Yo, what's going on? It's that boy Fred. Welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're doing another versus battle, and we're doing Kakashi versus Tsunade. You know, this is a very anticipated versus battle in the Naruto community. I feel it's not one of those ones that are as popular as some of the ones I've done in the past, but it's definitely one I've seen debated and talked about a lot because even when I did a video way back on ranking the Hokages, I had these two really basically kind of evenly matched, so I can already tell this is going to be a good one. So before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, you've been watching for quite some time, you for some reason haven't went down there and hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate if you could go down there and hit the sub button so we can reach our next goal of 200 subs. And an even closer one when recording this, we're only 2 subs away from 150. So I would really love to hit that goal too. But with all that out the way, let's get straight into the video. Now, of course, when starting off a versus battle, you always want to go over the very small details in the fighting aspect of both fighters. Because, like I said, this fight should, for the most part, be a really good one. It should be a very neck and neck fight. No one should really have the upper hand, except for when I begin to talk about, the slight hacks of both characters. Because, believe it or not, I feel most people should know both of these characters have a pretty impressive hack by, each of their sides. And before we get too far in the video, I want to specify that we're not going to be talking about DMS Kakashi. We all know how that will work. Part 1 Kakashi and Part 1 Tsunade is definitely a good one too, but I definitely do feel like Kakashi will take that one a lot more easier because of the way Tsunade was in Part 1, especially when we were first introduced to her. She has this fear of blood as she was, having her trauma of the war, which we found out later in Shippuden. So I feel like Kakashi would probably win that one. It still would be a very good fight, but we're gonna more so focus on War Arc because I feel like that's when both of them were really at their peak. Kakashi, we're gonna be talking about him with Naruto's extra chakra supply and without it. For the most part, we're gonna be talking about without it, but I am gonna touch on with it, and we're gonna be talking about, like I said, War Arc Tsunade. So getting into this now, talking into the speed aspect of both fighters, I do believe for the most part, most of everyone can slightly agree that Kakashi should have the slight speed advantage against Tsunade, especially at this point. If we're talking about War Arc, it took Kakashi and Guy when they were fighting the Tail Beast. That Guy felt that right off rip, let's go six gate. And actually, he might have eventually opened up the seventh gate, but I can't remember if he did that one for a fact. But I do know for a fact it was the sixth gate that he opened when he was fighting alongside Kakashi. So that already puts Kakashi at least about six gate level. And this is with no Naruto chakra. I don't believe Naruto gave out chakra just yet at this point in time because he had just got the KCM2 cloak after this. So yeah, he hadn't gave out any chakra yet. So this is Kakashi, and this Kakashi already slightly tired. He's pretty worn out in this war. He's already had to fight. This is basically once Obito shows up to the war. So now he's bringing all the tail beasts. Most of the reanimations are pretty much gone now. So he's already had to deal with all of that. Him and Guy both. So they should be significantly, weaker. I wouldn't say, flat out they should be weaker, but they should be, on that tired stage. They should be significantly, weaker than what they was in the beginning of the war when it first started off. So at this point in time, both of them are, at least Kakashi scaling him, not more so to Guy. He should be around a 6 gate Guy level. Now when it comes to 7 gate Guy speed, I do believe Kakashi, with the Naruto chakra imp, should be able to keep up with 7th gate Guy. I wouldn't say I still think Guy would be slightly faster, but he should be able to keep up with it better because this chakra does improve a lot, as we were able to see. It improves people's speed, strength, chakra supply, of course. So Naruto's chakra given out is definitely no joke. So yeah, in that aspect, I do believe Kakashi does have the upper hand when it comes to speed. Not to say Tsunade is slow in any type of way, but Kakashi was held up more so as being a very smart and quick fighter, while Tsunade was more of a brawler in her right aspect. She wasn't given really any big speed feats to even put her really on, as part 1 Kakashi would have been stated as somewhere around a lightning level, considering the fact that he was able to cut a lightning bolt in half with Chidori, which is also a lightning style attack. So, when people put it like that, you make it seem like this part 1 Kid Kakashi, actually not even part 1, just flat out Kid Kakashi was around lightning speed. So, Tsunade was never really given as big of a feat as that when it came to the speed aspect of it. So, that's why I feel to just simply, Kakashi should have the upper hand when it comes to speed. So that's one thing for him. Now, when we're talking about strength, this one's going to be a lot shorter. Come on, y'all. We all know Tsunade. She most definitely takes the strength in this portion. She's held as arguably probably like physically like top five strongest character in the shows. You know, the only people who I genuinely feel might be like physically stronger than her are like people like Sakura. You can make a case for like Sage Mode Naruto. Definitely like any type of form of Naruto stacking Sage Mode on top of it could be physically stronger than her. Um, but of course, that's just if you want to. Naruto at that point in time wasn't the best at using his chakra control to focus all into his fist. So you still could say Tsunade should still be physically stronger. But those are just a few characters that are in the realm of how strong physically Tsunade should be. And we saw how strong Naruto was in Sage Mode, being able to pick up pain summonings and toss them around like they were nothing. Yeah, that guy was outrageous. And then we all seen Sakura in the war arc, what she was able to do with her strength. And that was the point in time when they were all starting to surpass their Sani mentors. And so, Sakura should have been getting significantly stronger than Tsunade by this point in time, considering the fact Tsunade was older at this point in time. And, Sakura gained her 100 healings jutsu and all that. So, with all that, a little bit extra there. Sorry about that, but Tsunade should be, definitely significantly stronger than what Kakashi is. Considering the fact that Sakura punched the ground in the beginning of Shippuden, and Kakashi was kind of like, yikes! If I get hit by one of those, it'll be a nasty hit for me. And this Sakura is significantly weaker than both Tsunade and Warrock Sakura. So yeah. Um, Now, the jutsu aspects of it, I believe this goes right back to Kakashi, considering the fact that he has the Sharingan and he's copied thousands of jutsus, as he stated multiple times, and it's been stated by multiple people that Kakashi has lots of jutsus up his sleeve. And, when going up against him, he is held around the nation and really around the world as Kakashi, the copy ninja, known for having lots of jutsu up his sleeve. So and then Tsunade, just like I said with the whole speed thing, at the same time doesn't have the feats to back up that she has a lot of like jutsu. Like the only thing we ever seen Tsunade really do is punch. I can't remember a time where I seen Tsunade even use element, no earth, no water, no fire, any of that. I don't recall her ever using that except for her just punching the ground like how soccer fights. Like I don't ever recall any of them using anything in that aspect except for medical ninjutsu. Um, so now I want to speak on a little bit on both characters' hacks, on both sides. As we all know, for Tsunade, that is most definitely the 100 healings jutsu. As we've seen what she was able to do against reanimated Madara, she was able to basically take charge of the entire fight of the 5 Kage versus Madara and then proceed to take lead and actually do really good for herself. She didn't do like top tier, but she definitely did really good for herself. So in this fight, she was able to crack Madara Susano, which to get this out of the way right now, I personally feel that if Kakashi is to get hit by Tsunade with her activating 100 healings jutsu, in an aspect like this, I do feel like Kakashi could potentially die. One hit like that, it's kind of like the same scenario that I said for adult soccer hitting a live Madara. If if one of them are to get hit by one of these hits from these women, I believe it would. Now, adult soccer and Madara are slightly different because I do feel like adult soccer is significantly physically stronger than Tsunade, while you have Tsunade, who is still like at this point in time very much higher up than Kakashi when it comes to physical strength. Kakashi does have immaculate. Oh, that's a big word right there. Let me tone that word down. He does have really great endurance, and durability. So Kakashi could find a way to survive. Not saying that he's gonna pull out some type of hacks to survive, but he could still survive after this hit. But no, I'm not going to believe that this hit is not going to put him in definitely some critical condition. So, as we all know, Tsunade wouldn't just flat out go out there swinging anyways. It would take one of her punches that she's really focusing a lot of chakra in to really like almost kill, if not kill, Kakashi. So in that aspect, I will say Tsunade could win this if that is the way that we're going to go about that. If she lands even though Kakashi should be significantly faster, or if not significantly, then slightly faster, if she does manage to hit Kakashi with one of her, chakra up full power punches, then he should die, if not be in critical condition to the point where he can't fight anymore. But going on back into her hacked ability, being the 100 healings jutsu. Now, this jutsu, as we've seen, like I said earlier, against Madara, did extremely well for herself. It was able to take a Susanoo sword to the chest, and she got up off of it like it was nothing, and it immediately healed. It's basically just a get out of jail card over and over. It's kind of like a Izanagi. No, not Izanagi. Yeah, Izanagi. Um, yeah, Izanagi. Yeah, I'm sorry. I always get Izanagi and Izanami mixed up. So yeah, it's like a kind of basically what Donzo was using, to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. Whichever one Donzo was using, it's kind of exactly like that. If you are getting hit with critical hits, from the most part, from what we were able to see, it looks like you can survive this. Because Sakura got punched, like it looked like she might have died when she ran in there and got hit by Madara, but she was fine. She took a good hit, but she was fine after that. So the 100 healings does have like incredible healing ability. Like it seems like, for the most part, no matter what type of injury you take, you should be fine. Like, for the most part. Now, talking on Kakashi's hack stability, is of course the Mangekyo Sharingan being the most broken one, in my opinion, being Kamui. Now, granted, Kakashi does not have the left eye, like, or is it the right eye? Whatever. He doesn't have the eye that Obito has. Let's say that he doesn't have the more broken eye, but he does still have a version of Kamui nonetheless. And at this point in time, we're talking about War Kakashi, so he's got significantly better with it than, let's say, when he fought Data and he first used it. Because when he first, fought Data and he tried to use it, he tried to warp away some of Data's body, and it just didn't go. I don't. It just didn't go to his plan. He didn't really take away as much of Data as he wanted to, and I honestly can't remember if he did take. I believe he did take Data's arm away. I believe that's what it was. But even then, he tried to take away like a lot more of Data. So in a situation like this, where Kakashi has gotten significantly better with the Mangekyo Sharingan, it is definitely up in the air to say that he could warp away one of Tsunade's hands or something like that, and then that would put her in a very big disadvantage. Now, of course, in a situation like this, you would assume that Kakashi would have tried something like this in the war, which I also agree that I would have thought he would have tried to use something like this in the war arc as well. But at this time, he did not have Naruto's chakra, and he knew his chakra limits. So, in a situation like this, I feel that if we're talking about Kakashi with no Naruto chakra, then this Kamui Hex isn't as important, because he knows his limits and he knows how much chakra and how far he truly can go. So he probably wouldn't try this too many times, especially not more than once, I feel. It's kind of like more so how he tried to tell Sasuke in part one about his limits on the Chidori being only two. When Sasuke tried to push three, it basically put this man almost in critical condition. Yeah. So it's kind of exactly like that. So going on to how I believe this fight could go, I've kind of already slightly summed up, at least two different ways of how it could go. If we're just flat out going on a stand up, face to face fight with no Naruto chakra being implied right now, it's a very close fight, because Tsunade she knows Kakashi, Kakashi knows Tsunade. Tsunade definitely should know more about Kakashi than Kakashi should know about her, considering the fact she's older and she remembers, this young Kakashi. I guarantee it, because he's known across the world. So she's heard of him plenty of times. So she knows Kakashi has a lot. So in a fight like this, I feel Tsunade would probably go into her 100 healings jutsu. And this, I can't say fully that the 100 healings jutsu does amp speed, but if it does, then with her activating this does kind of make up for the speed difference, or the slight speed difference that I was stating earlier that Kakashi should have, and that is if the 100 healing jutsu does boost up speed in some type of way, because in that part in time, then Tsunade has this one, she's doing really well for herself in this fight, because now Kakashi has to not only dodge her, but he has to outlast her 100 healings jutsu, because any significant damage, if he does manage to land a Chidori to the heart, or one to the stomach, Tsunade can just back up and heal that on up. So Kakashi is basically fighting against time and fighting for his life right now because he's not trying to get hit, but he also has to, make sure he can, wear Tsunade out long enough to the point where this 100 healings jutsu can finally wear off. Now, in that case, then I feel that Kakashi probably would lose the fight due to the lack of abilities that he would have to, fully stop Tsunade because in a war arc's perspective, Tsunade is going all out. So, if she fights and she doesn't have no fear of blood or anything like that, like she did against Madara, then Tsunade should be head in first. She should be fighting just like how she did against Madara. She should be going straight into the battle, not caring about what hits her. And in that case, it's not gonna catch Kakashi off guard fully, but it's definitely gonna surprise him. And by the time he realizes that now he can't really damage Tsunade or do any significant damage, it's probably gonna be too late, and he's probably gonna end up getting hit once or twice, and that's probably gonna be a G for him. But there's a but if we do include the Naruto chakra, since we are talking about War Kakashi, then I do feel like Kakashi then wins that fight because as we've seen how much Naruto's chakra really upped Kakashi, especially. He went from basically using Kamui once or twice in a day and being in the hospital to mans was spamming it like he was Obito. I swear Kakashi used that thing like 7, 8 times within a span of a couple minutes. Like he was spamming Kamui. So if he can spam it like that on maybe Tsunade's arms, legs, something like that, I definitely don't think it's out of the puddle to just say he won't try that, especially when he knows Tsunade's physical strength is leagues above his own. Now he also has a slight speed amp, and then he should be now able to avoid Tsunade's hits a lot better, and he should be able to outlast the 100 healings jutsu just enough to be able to pull off the dub in this situation because I do believe that even if Tsunade has 100 healings jutsu active, that if she gets one of her arms warped away, that arm is gone. I don't think she has I believe it's more so a regeneration, like a replacement. Like I don't really know the right words to describe it, but I don't feel like it's who's a good example? Like Piccolo in Dragon Ball. Like when Piccolo ripped off his arm, he just immediately grew another one back. I don't think the 100 healings jutsu works like that. I feel like if you lose an actual body part, for the most part, it should be gone. But at the same time, we also didn't see anything like that to prove that point. So it is a little, up in the air to say that. But I feel from my perspective, I do feel like Kakashi with Naruto's chakra should win. And Kakashi without it, I would give the dub to Tsunade. So yeah, I feel like I can wrap the video up right there. Some might disagree, some might agree with me. But at the end of the day, it's all my personal opinion. So if you have a different opinion, leave it down below in the comment section. If you think Kakashi wins both, Tsunade wins both, or you think vice versa, then leave it down below in the comment section. I love seeing you guys' comments and love replying. If you made it to the end, I really want to appreciate you. Not too many make it to the end, but I want to appreciate you specifically for making it to the end of the video. Now, let me stop rambling on and all that and get you guys up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe and share with your friends if you enjoy and you think they might enjoy. And I'll see you guys in the next video.